Hello friends, welcome to Acquire IAS. So today we are going to discuss questions on chapter number 2 of the Shankar IAS, that is functions of the ecosystem. Okay, as well as you can download the short notes of the Hindu PDF from the given below links. Okay, to join the WhatsApp group you can text as UPSC 2021 to the this number, that is 9640123412. Okay, so there it can be given you as the even the personal guidance also. Okay, so next we see our today's topic, that is questions based on the functions on the ecosystem, that is chapter number 2 of the Shankar IAS. Okay, so without getting late we'll start. Okay, so this is our first question. Choose the correct answer from the following options. So the first option is the flow of energy from producers to consumers is called energy flow, which is unidirectional. Okay, which is unidirectional. Second one, the flow of energy from producers to top consumers is called energy flow, which is multidirectional. The third option is the flow of energy from producer to top consumers is called double energy flow, which is unidirectional. Okay, and the last option is the flow of energy from producer to consumer is called double energy flow, which is multidimensional. Okay, so from this optional you have to choose the correct option. So how you will choose the correct option based upon this? So let us see. Okay, so here it is saying we should read the options very much carefully. That is, the flow of energy from producer to consumer is called energy flow. Is this correct? Yes, it is obviously correct, because it is, see, the flow of energy from producers, this is the stage 1, to consumers, this is the final stage. Okay, is called as energy flow. That means the energy is following from the stage 1 to the following stage last. So this is a energy flow, isn't it? Yes, so obviously that is correct. So till here it is correct, but here we will get the confusion, that is which is unidirectional. So is it unidirectional or multidirectional? So in these two options the students might get confused. Okay, so for this confusion I'll tell you one thing, one small logic behind this, how to remember this, right? So you can remember as the producers. Okay, the producers is the first stage and the consumers are the last stage, that is final stage. Okay, in between the processing stage will also come. Okay, so just assume that whether this final person, okay, can this the producers can take the energy from these consumers? Is it not? It is not possible. Okay, see, let me tell you by the figure, okay, which is I have brought for you. Yeah, this is a good figure for this, good explanation. So here you can see that the flow of energy from producer to consumer is called energy flow, which is unidirectional. Here it is producers, that is grass. Okay, so on this the number of other primary consumers will be dependent. Okay, so later on these primary consumers, the secondary consumers will dependent on this secondary consumers, the tertiary consumers is dependent. Okay, so now we will think about the reverse direction. Okay, can the snake eat the eagle? It is not possible. Okay, can these rabbits eat the snake? Not possible. Okay, can the grass eat the rabbits? It is not possible. Okay, so in this way you have to remember, that is reverse direction of the energy is not possible. That is, the energy pyramid is always upright. okay, which will be a direct question in the UPSC preliminary examinations, that it can be asked as the energy pyramid will be downward or upward, upright or downright. Okay, so you should not get confused, it is always upright, right? So next we see further next question, that is second question. The energy flow through the trophic levels from producer to subsequent trophic levels. Okay, so option number A, this energy always flows from lower to higher trophic levels. Second option is, this energy always flows from higher level to lower levels. Okay, third option is, both A and B are correct, and fourth option is, neither A nor B is correct. So right friends, what it is asking, the energy flow from the one trophic level to the from producer to subsequent trophic level is from the lower to higher levels, isn't it? Yes, it is obviously right. Just now we saw this. Just a second. You can see this in this diagram very clearly. That is, this grasses cannot eat the eagle, isn't it? Is it possible? This is not a possible case. So can the grass eat the rabbits? This is not the possible case. Can the grass eat the snakes? This is not the possible case. Okay, but this eagle can be eaten by the snake, and this grass is eaten by the rabbits, and rabbits can be eaten by the snake, and snake can be eaten by the eagle. So the reverse direction of the energy flow is impossible in this. So the same thing has been asked in this question also. That is what it is saying, that the energy flow from the subsequent, that is lower to subsequent levels. Subsequent means then the upper levels. Okay, so here we have the option as, the energy always flows from the lower to higher trophic levels, which is obviously correct answer, correct option. Second option is, this energy always flows from higher to lower trophic levels. So this is wrong options. Okay, so only A is correct, so there is no option here. So here you can mark it as neither A nor B, because you don't have a option of A, only A. Okay, so here the option will be the D, neither A nor B, right? Next we see about the third question. Energy, see, you have to read even the options very much carefully, because such kind of confusing options will be given by the UPSC to trap the students. Okay, so please be focused on that. Now we will move for third question. Energy level decreases from, okay, energy level decreases from top to bottom, bottom to top. Energy level does not decreases. The fourth option is, very little energy will be decreased, that is less than 1%. So which of the following is correct from the following options? So just now we saw that from the same figure, here the energy will be, here these are the producers. Okay, these are the natural producers by the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so they have 100% energy. Okay, and rabbits will eat this grass. Okay, rabbits, grasshoppers, etc. will eat this grass, and what it will do, it will consume around 90% of the energy. That means only 10% of the energy will be consumed by this level. Okay, rest it will be given to subsequent levels. Then what will happen after it will consume 10%, 10 to 20%. Again the rest will be transferred to the next levels. Again here it will consume some levels. Okay, for example 30%. Then the next will be transferred to the higher levels. So in this way the energy will be reduced from the bottom to top. Okay, so bottom to top. So next we will move for that question. Yeah, so the option here will be, now you can easily mark that is as option number B is the right answer. Next question is option, there is an explanation for this option 2 and 3. For second question, the energy flows through the tropic of the, here you can see the explanation for the question number 2, that is energy flows through the tropic levels from the producers to the subsequent tropic levels. The energy is always from the lower producer to the lower, that is producers to the higher herbivores, carnivores, etc. trophic levels. Okay, it will never flow in the reverse direction, that is from the carnivores to the herbivores to producers. Okay, so just now we discussed this all, so no need for going any sort of separate explanations for this, right? So next we move for the third question, that is third explanation, that is there is a loss of some energy in the form of unusable heat. Okay, unusable heat at the trophic levels, each trophic level, so that the energy level decreases from the first trophic level to the upward, that is producers to the consumers. Okay, even this we have discussed that, right? Next we see the fourth question, from which of the following one can get more energy after eating? So we will eat these all things in our daily life, but after eating we will get more energy from which of the following options? Okay, so option number A is green vegetables, option number 2 beef, option number C fish, option number D, that is milk. So the right option is, try to attempt these questions. Okay, pause video for each and every question and try to attempt by self, then please evaluate by yourself, it will make you much more sensible. Okay, so now the option number A will be the right answer. Many of may think that milk or beef or fish will be answers, but most probably it will be wrong. Why? Because green vegetables are the primary producers. Green vegetables are the producers. Okay, just now we saw from this figure, here you can see the producers, the green grasses are contained in the producers. Okay, later on the another factors will come under the secondary and secondary stages, that is beef, milk and fish. Okay friends, so green vegetables will be your answer. Next, fifth question is, the trophic level interaction consists of, the trophic level interaction consists of food chain, food web, ecological pyramid. Option D is all of the above. So which one of the following option is correct? So the trophic level interaction consists of only food chain, or only food web, or only ecological pyramid, or all of the above. So you have to decide. Please pause the video and try to attempt this question. So let me answer this question now. So your answer will be option number D is the right answer for this. So it will contain food chain, food web and ecological pyramid. Okay, next we see further. Here you have the explanation for question number 5, that is, see the following three will be included in the trophic level interactions. Okay, so this is the schematic diagram for this. Okay, so next we move further. I think there is no need of explanation in this. There is, it will lose energy in each and every transmission. Okay, from one trophic level to another trophic level. Okay, so now within a while we'll see what is the meaning of food chain, what is the meaning of food web. Okay, so these are all we are going to discuss from now. Okay, so now we see what is the term herbivores refers to. So what does the term herbivores refers to you? That is meat eaters, plant eaters, both plant and animal eaters, none of the above. So here option will be the A, meat eaters. Okay, so herbivores, just a second, let me cross check this question. I'm sorry for this. Yeah, the term herbivores refers to the plant eaters, not meat eaters. Okay, so herbivores are the plant eaters, like for example cow. Okay, cow, rabbit. Okay, these are the examples of the herbivores. So next, what does the term carnivores refers to? So carnivores refers to option number C. Okay, option number C, that is both plants and animal eaters. Okay, so here I have not read the options here, that is A, B, C and D. That is because these are the simple terms which even a common man will use for today's. So we know. So next we move further for next question, that is what the term omnivores refers to. Option number A, the ability to eat and survive on both plant and animal matter. Okay, option number B, the ability to eat and survive only on animal matters. Option number C, the ability to eat and survive only on plant. Option number D, neither they have ability to eat and survive on both plants and animal matters. Okay, so sorry, so which of the following option is the correct answer regarding omnivores? That is option number A is the right answer, because omnivores refers to both the eaters of plants and animals. These are dependent on both plants and animals. Examples are human beings. Okay, examples of human being, right? Next we see next question, ninth question is, sorry, there is an explanation for this. There is you can refer this diagram for just fast track remembering. Okay, herbivores are plant eaters. Okay, those can eat only plants. Okay, not animals. Okay, next carnivores, they are cruel. Okay, carnivores for which is for very much cruel, so it will eat the animals. Okay, so omnivores which is most violent as compared to carnivores in general term. Okay, they will eat meat as well as vegetables, that is green vegetables. That is omnivore contains carnivores plus herbivores, right? So next we move further. Ninth question, arrange the correct order of the grazing food chain in the terrestrial system. So option number A, plant, B, lizard, C, caterpillar and D is snake. Choose the correct code from the given options. Option number A is, let me clear the screen for you guys. Is it clear? Yeah. Option number option number 1 is A C B D. Option number 2 D B C A. Option number 3 A B C D. Option number D. Option number 4, that is D C B A. Okay, so which of the following option is the correct one? You have to choose that. Okay, so now see how to choose this question. How to choose the correct option for this kind of questions. Okay, so now let us see what the question is actually in proper sense. Arrange the correct order of the grazing food chain. Okay, it is asking about the grazing food chain. Okay, that too in terrestrial system, not in aquatic system. Okay, that too in terrestrial system, which is means on land. Okay, which is on land. So now we see on land the producers are plant. Okay, plant can be eaten by lizard? No, it's not possible. Then it will come the caterpillar, right? Yes, caterpillar can eat the plants. So caterpillar can be eaten by the snakes? No, so it is eaten by the lizard. So the last option is snake. So our options should be here A, then comes C, then comes B, then comes D. A, C, B, D. your option number is A is the right answer. A, C, B, D. Okay friends, in this way you have to select the orders of the any question. Okay. Next we see the schematic diagram of this question. So here there is a schematic diagram of this particular question. That is the energy flows, that is a from the one just a second. Here you can see the flowers which are producers, okay, which are producers is eaten by the consumers, that is caterpillars, and caterpillars in turns eaten by the consumers, that is frogs, and frogs are eaten by the consumers, that is snakes, and snakes can be eaten by the consumers, that is owl. Okay, this is the transformation. Next we see the next question, that is arrange the correct order of the grazing food chain in the aquatic system. So till now we saw about the terrestrial system, now we are seeing about the aquatic system. So which of the following order is the right option, correct answer? Okay, so the option number A is phytoplankton, second one is zooplankton, option number C fish, option number D is pelican. So we will see here which of the following is the correct answer. So most of the students will get confused between the option A and the B, okay, because zooplanktons will come first is or phytoplankton, right? So here we don't have any option as a B, right? So from here we can say that obviously we should not get confused by that, because the option B is not at the starting. Okay, so option number A is there, next D is there, so pelican will be not the option. So whatever the options which are there at the starting as D, just eliminate it. Okay, so your option number 2 and 4 will be gone, and you will rest with the option A and 3, 1 and 3, right? So from these two options you have 4 options, that is phytoplankton, zooplankton, fish and pelican. So phytoplanktons can be eaten by fish, phytoplankton it can be eaten by zooplankton, then it can be eaten by fish, then it can be by pelican. Okay, so option number C is the right answer, that is A, B, C, D, because if phytoplankton is eaten by fish, then fish is in turn eaten by the pelican, then where the zooplanktons will go? Will it go for heaven? So in this way you have to just eliminate the wrong options. Okay, so I hope you understood how to eliminate this question, wrong options. Okay, so next we move further for next questions, that is 11th question. Arrange the following of detritus food chain. Okay, detritus food chain in an order. So litter, earthworm, chicken and hawk. So choose the correct answer from the given codes. So your option number A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4 are given in the following descriptions, so you can see this. So first it comes the detritus, means dead food chains, okay, which are dead, they are no more living beings, right? So first it comes the litter. Okay, then litter can be eaten by the earthworms. Yes, it is obviously correct. Then earthworms can be eaten by the chickens, right? It is obviously right. Then comes the hawk. So option will be A, B, C, D is the right option. So A, B, C, D, the third option is the correct answer for this code, for this question, right? So we now see the schematic diagram of this. So grazing and detritus food chain. Okay, so here I have not explained you regarding the aquatic system. Okay, here aquatic system. So let me take you to the diagram. Here the aquatic food chain. Okay, so in this process it will be flow. Okay, so this is just an image for you to remember whatever we have read. Okay, so no need for this diagram much more, but it is just for your convenience. Okay, next we see that is grazing and detritus food chain. So the detritus food chain, that is litter. Okay, here it is your question, that is litter, earthworms, chicken and hawks. So we saw, I hope there is no need for explanation for that question. So next we move for next question, that is 12th. Choose the correct answer. A food web illustrates all possible transfer of energy and nutrients among the organisms in an ecosystem, whereas a food chain traces only one pathway of the food. Second option is, a food web illustrates unidirectional transfer of energy and nutrients among the organisms in an ecosystem, whereas a food chain traces only one pathway of the food. So select the correct statement from the above. So option number 1 is only A. Option number 2 only B. Option number C both A and B, and option number D is neither A nor B, right? So here you have to choose the correct answer from the given options. So we will analyze the options right now from now. So option number A food web illustrates all possible transfer of energy. Here first of all he is speaking about the food web. Second one, he is speaking about the all possible transfer of energy and nutrients, okay, among the organisms in an ecosystem, whereas a food chain, whereas he is next speaking about the food chain, traces only one path of the pathway of the food, right? So according to me there is no wrong in this option, so option number A is correct. Now we will see about the second option, that is food web. Okay, here it is talking about the food web illustrates unidirectional, that is only in one directional, so which is a wrong here. First of all, transfers of energy and nutrients among the organisms in an ecosystem, whereas a food chain traces only one path of the food. So this second one is correct, but the first half of the statement is wrong. So option number B is wrong, so only option number A is correct. So your option number 1 will be the correct answer. Okay, so how you will remember this, how to by heart, how to understand this topic, that is food chain and food web. There is a slight difference between the food chain, this is the most important, that is food web, and the, let me mark you, that is food chain. Okay, here it is your food chain. So what does the food web includes? Food web includes, here I will show you through the diagram. This is the food web. Okay, so here grass can be eaten by the grasshoppers, okay, and it can be eaten by the rabbits, mouse, okay. In turns, rabbit can be eaten by the fox and buzzard. Okay friends, next mouse can be eaten by the fox, buzzard. Okay, in this similar way, in short, what I mean to say, what I am trying to say here is the, let me go for this page because here it is good. So yeah, sorry. So because what I am trying to say is food web is the multi-directional. Okay, it doesn't have any sort of single directional. Okay, the grass can be eaten by the many, such as rabbits, fox, cow, sorry not fox, cow, okay, so many other things, insects, caterpillars, okay, in this way. But the food chain, what the food chain includes, food chain does not have such kind of multi-directional, it has unidirectional. Okay, food chain has a unidirectional, that is producers, that is grass will be eaten by the grasshoppers, in turns it can be eaten by the take as caterpillars, sorry not caterpillars, frogs, it can be eaten by the snakes. Okay, but snake can't be eaten, but frogs cannot eat the snake, grasshoppers cannot eat the frog, okay, and grass cannot eat the grasshoppers. So this is called as unidirectional. Okay friends, I hope you understood this. So next we see further, this we have done with the food web. Next we see the ecological pyramid. That is 13th question. The ecological pyramid is consist of the pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, pyramid of energy or productivity, and the pyramid of size. So there are 4 options here below given in. Okay, so out of this you have to choose the correct answer. So the correct answer is C. C is the correct answer. That is option number 1, 2 and 3 will be the correct answer, because the ecological pyramid consists of the number, biomass and the energy or the productivity of the pyramid. Okay, so here we will see by the diagram as well. So you can see here, that is ecological pyramid. Here it is your producer, herbivore, carnivores, secondary carnivores and the apex predators. So here what they are talking about, the number, biomass and the energy. So energy is very much high at the primary, that is producers level, and by the end of the pyramid the energy will be drastically reduced. Okay, in the similar way the number will also get reduced. Okay, and the biomass as well, because it will consumed by the each another. Okay, at the each level. But the here the size, the pyramid of the size, it does not include in the ecological pyramid. Okay, so your option will be the option C, that is option number 1, 2, 3 are correct answers, right? Next we move further for 14th question, that is choose the correct statement from the below following options from the below. Option number A, the pyramid of number may not always upright and may even be completely inverted. Okay, next option number B, the pyramid of number is always upright. Okay, next we see option number C is the pyramid of number is completely inverted. Okay, next that is the none of the above. The given options A, B, C are the wrong options. So which of the following is correct answer? So here there is nothing to discuss about this, but let me tell you one thing, the pyramid of number it is talking about. So at the production level, for example, we will take about the grass are very much in size. Okay, not size, because if you will get confused with that option previous question size. Okay, so in terms of production. Okay, yes, production. So by the second stage the grasshoppers are very much less as compared to the grass. Okay, then here we see the frogs are very much less. Then comes our snakes, it is very much less as compared to the frogs. Then the eagles, which is very much less as compared to the frogs. Then comes our eagles. Okay, so in this way you have to remember the correct option, correct series. Okay, so the pyramid of number may not always be upright. So here the option number A is the right answer. Okay friends, so just a second. Yeah, got it. The pyramid of numbers may not always be upright and may even be completely inverted. Okay, so here the option number A is the right answer. Okay, next we see next 15th question, that is choose the correct answer. Option number A, for most ecosystem on land the pyramid of biomass has a large base of primary producers with a small trophic levels perched on top. Option number B, all the ecosystem on the land the pyramid of biomass has a large base of the primary producers with a small trophic levels perched on the top. Okay, so choose the correct answer here, that is only A, only B, both A and B, and neither A nor B. So the correct answer would be only A is the right answer, because here it is saying that for most of the ecosystem on land, but not for the all the ecosystem. Okay, and the pyramid of the biomass has the large primary producers, large base of the primary producers with smaller trophic levels, which is not possible for each and every ecosystem, right? So for this purpose, option B will be the wrong. Okay, we will see next question, that is option number 6 question number 16, that is an energy pyramid reflects the law of thermodynamics, the law of attraction, the Newton's third law, and the fourth one is none of the above. So which of the following is the correct option? That is, the energy pyramid refers to the law of thermodynamics. Now what is the meaning of law of thermodynamics? Law of thermodynamics, which includes the energy, temperature, biomass. Okay, so each and everything it will include in this law of thermodynamics. So option A will be the right answer here. Okay, so next we see 17th question. An energy pyramid is always upright, downward, may be inverted, may not be inverted. So which one of the following is the correct answer? So this question we have discussed earlier also, so please give your answer in the comment box. This question I am not going to say, right? So next we see, even you can take the hint from this following picture. Next we see here the explanation for the 16th one, right? The energy pyramid reflects the law of thermodynamics, which convergence of the solar energy of chemical energy and heat energy at each trophic levels, with the loss of energy being depicted at each transfer to another trophic levels. Hence the pyramid is always upright with a large energy base at the bottom. So no need for explanation, because just now we discussed very much clearly about this thing. So I hope you understood there itself. So next we move further, that is 17th question. The term bioaccumulation refers to, option number A, how pollutants enters in a food chain, option number B, how pollutants go out of a food chain, option number C, both A and B, and option number D, neither A nor B, right? So here your option is option number A is the correct answer. How pollutants enters in a food chain, that is bioaccumulation. So here you can easily break the term into two halves, so that is bio and accumulation. Okay, then you can easily get the answers. I hope there is nothing much tough question. Next we see about the 18th question, that is biomagnification refers to. What does the term biomagnification refers to? Option number A, the tendency of pollutants to concentrate as they move from one trophic level to next level. Okay, next option number 2, the tendency of pollutants to concentrate as they does not move from one trophic level to next trophic levels. Okay, so they does not move from one trophic level to the next trophic levels. Okay, next the option number C is both A and B are the correct. Option number D is neither of them correct. So in this 18th one, the tendency of the pollutants to concentrate as they move from one trophic level to next is the correct answer. Okay, magnification, which is nothing but the spreading. Okay, next we see here it is your bioaccumulation, how the man gets the accumulation, bioaccumulation. Okay, so he has number of resources here. Okay, number of sources from where he is going to get the accumulation of the pollutants. Okay, next we see about the 19th question. In a pollination, mutualism refers to. Okay, in a pollination, mutualism. Here you can see option number A, both plants and insects will be benefited. Option number B, only plant gets benefits. Option number C, only insects benefits. And option number D, both will get harmed. So pollination means, see here there is a picture in this. So butterflies suck a nectar from the flower, okay, and it will pollinate the seeds at some other place, okay, and there once again the tree or plants will be grown. So in this way the pollination is mutually benefited for both, that is butterflies and the plants. So in mutualism both the plants will get benefits, plants and insects will get benefits, okay. In commensalism, one species get benefit, the other is unaffected. Option number B is both plant and animals get unaffected. Option number C, both plant and animals get affected. Option number D is both species benefits but unaffected. So here in commensalism, option number A is the right answer, that is one species benefits, the other is unaffected. So how to understand about this, we'll see this by picture, which will be very much clear for you, right? So we'll move further. Commensalism, here it is your picture. The frog is climbed on the tree leaf, okay. So is that tree getting harmed? So no, there is no harm for it, okay. Now next you can see in this figure also, cattle egrets eat the insects strayed upon the cattle when they are grazing, okay. So is there anything harm for this? No, nothing harm. So here you can say that commensalism is a relation between the two organisms, which is one organism benefits, the other will without harm, okay. See here, the others without harming it. So here one will get benefit and the other will not get harmed, okay. So next we see, for the example for that question, that is commensalism, is cow dung, right? So on cow dung, the food and shelter to dung beetles, okay. The cow dung is provided as a food and shelter to the dung beetles. The dung beetles have no effect on the cows, isn't it? So if not, please go in the villages and you can see as much as you can, right? So next we see question number 21. Question number 21. In competition, option number A, both species are harmed by the interactions, okay. Option number B, both species are benefited by the interactions. Option number C, both species are not benefited by the interaction. And option number D, none of the above. So here the option number A is the correct answer, both species are harmed by the interactions, okay, because there is a much more competition between two objects than the no one will get benefit, right? Next we see further 22nd question, predation and parasitism, okay. So in this, one species benefits, the other is harmed. The option B is one species benefits, the other is affected. Option number C, both species harmed. Option number D, both species are not harmed at all, okay. So even this distinction between this predations and the parasitism is not given in the Shankara as well. So I have noted down from some other sites, so you can refer this, okay. So the difference between the parasitism and the predation is, in predation the tiger kills the deer, okay, and it do only for the food, okay, and it will kill immediately, okay. The predator is in the big size. Next, the predator's biotic potential is usually very low, tiger, lion, etc., okay. so which is very much low competitors as compared to parasitism. So next we see about the parasitism, that is tapeworm in human digestive tract. The second one is done for food plus shelter. The third one is host not killed. Okay, host not killed. Okay, host not killed immediately. Next one is it is very much smaller as compared to the predations, and the parasite's biotic potential is usually higher, right friends? Next we go for the option number 23, that is question number 23. A large tree shades a small plant, retarding the growth of the small plant. The small plant has no effect on the large tree. It describes which of the following? Okay, so it describes which of the following. So the option number B is the correct answer. Just go through this and then you can solve this, right? So option number B is the correct answer. So next that is amensalism. We see what does the amensalism mean here. Okay, so amensalism is nothing but the one will not get any harm but the other is affected. Okay, see here, the large tree. Okay, a large tree shades a small plant, retarding the growth, which means it is hampering the growth of the small plant, right? The small plant has no effect on the large tree. It is getting affected but it does not affect the large tree, isn't it? Yes, so it is very much clear. So the option will be the amensalism. Okay, yeah, now you can read very much clearly. Let's move further. There is no net benefit or harm to either species. Describes which of the following? These statements describes which of the following? That is straightforward neutralism. Okay, which is no benefit, no loss. There is no net benefit or harm to either of the species. That is neutralism, right? Next we see further 25th question. So before going to 25th question, I would like to tell you regarding the amensalism, commensalism, mutualism, neutralism, everything at one spot. See here you can see that commensalism means one will get benefit, the other will not affected. Okay, here in neutralism is neither of them get affected. Okay, neither one get affected. In amensalism, one will get not affected, the other will get affected. Okay, in competition both will get affected. So that is in facilitation that is both will gain. Okay, mutualism both will gain. Next in antagonism one will get benefit, the other will get affected. Okay, the antagonism. So here you can see that competition is opposite to facilitation. In UPSC it can be asked a direct question, that is which one is the following the opposite for the competition? That is facilitation. Okay, so mutualism and antagonism, and facilitation. Okay, in mutualism both species will get benefit, and in antagonism one will get unaffected, the other will get benefits regarding that. Next we go further. Biogeochemical cycles refers to. So what does the term the biogeochemical refers? That is option number A, the circulation from non-living to living. Option number B, circulation from one layer to another layer. Option number C, circulation from troposphere to stratosphere. Option number D is none of the above. So which of the following will be the correct answer? So choose the correct answer from the below options. So here biogeochemical refers to circulation from one living thing to another level, that is transfer from one level to another level, right? So next we see diagram regarding the biogeochemicals. That is, it is characterized by the environment, okay, that is surrounding environment, living beings plus non-living beings, and the environment. So it is the accumulations of the living beings and biotic and abiotic, you can say, right? So next we see further next question, that is 26 questions. Most gaseous cycles are generally considered as perfect cycles. So why? What is the reason behind that? So option number A is, a perfect nutrient cycle is one in which nutrients are replaced as fast as they are utilized. Option number B is, a perfect nutrient cycle is one in which nutrients are not replaced as fast as they are utilized. And option number C is, a perfect nutrient cycle is one in which nutrients are not eroded. Okay. And option number D is, a perfect nutrient cycle is one in which the nutrients are sustainable. Okay, so how to eliminate the wrong options from this following options? So most gaseous are the cycles. Most gaseous cycles are generally considered as a perfect cycles. Why? So the reason is, a perfect nutrients is one in which nutrients are sustainable. This is a wrong answer, wrong options, because if it is sustainable, why it can be called as perfect cycle? So based on the perfect cycle, the small hint which is given in this question, based on that the option number D can be eliminated on the very much easy basis, right? So next we see about the C option, that is, a perfect nutrient cycle is one in which nutrients are not eroded. If nutrients are not eroded, so then how the balance will be formed? Okay, so due to this it is a wrong option. Okay, next we see, a perfect nutrient cycle is one in which nutrients are not replaced as fast as they are utilized. Then the earth will not be formed by today. Okay, so it is obviously a wrong option. So the rest option is option number A, which is correct answer. That is, a perfect nutrient cycle is one in which nutrients are replaced as fast as they are utilized, right? So next we see about the 27th question. The sedimentary cycles are considered relatively. Option number A, imperfect. Option number B, perfect. Option number C, semi-perfect. Option number D, none of the above. So think about this, pause the video and please think about this and then try to answer this question. So option number A will be the correct answer, that is imperfect, because the some sort of sediments will go under the oceans and they'll come out of the millions of the years to the earth's surface, and then it is eroded due to the various reasons like weathering, wearing and tearing. Okay, then the minerals will come out from the sediments, so it will take much more years to come out, so it is called as imperfect for these reasons. Okay, next we see about the 28th question. Choose the correct answer from the following. Water moves from one reservoir to another by the process of, option number A, evaporation, transpiration and infiltration. Option number B, condensation, precipitation. Option number C, deposition, runoff and groundwater flow. And option number D, all of the above. So which of the following is given correct answer? You have to choose the correct code from the below. So the answer will be the option number D, all of the above will be the correct answer, because water will be the transfer from one reservoir to another from the following options. So here you have the diagram for this, that is, you can see here, that is evaporation, condensation, advection, right? Next here it is your runoff water. Okay, see here it is your soil moisture, groundwater, percolation. Okay friends, next here it is your infiltration, so sublimation, melt, runoff, snow and glaciers. Okay, so due to these all reasons the water can be transformed from one reservoir to another very easily. Okay, next we see next question, that is 29th question. The carbon cycle usually has long-term cycle, short-term cycle, depends upon the situation, and both A and B are the right answers. So The carbon cycle is actually a short term cycle. If you read the second chapter, you can be able to answer this question very much easily. Okay, so no need for explanation for these questions. Next we move further. That is, nitrogen fixation on the earth can be done in which of the following way? By microorganisms, by men using industrial processes, and option number 3 is to a limited extent by atmospheric phenomena on such as thunder and lightning. Can the lightning and thundering will fix the nitrogen fixation? Is it possible? Yes, obviously it is possible. So option number D is a right option. Okay, so next we see, so for such kind of statements you have to go through your Shankar IAS. Okay, then only if you attempt these questions, it will be very much easy and sensible for your studies, right? Next we see, this is your small schematic diagram of the nitrogen fixation, the cycle of nitrogen fixation. You can go through it. Okay, next we see the last question of this lecture. Suppose this is a which is much trendy in your examinations, UPSC examinations especially, right? So I have framed this question for such kind of practice. So this is the last question. So read the question and carefully answer the correct answer, right? Suppose you went to visit a lake. Okay, suppose you went to visit a lake. There you found that floating plants are very much in abundant. Which of the following is correct in this situation? Option number A, presence of phosphorus is very much high. Option number B, presence of sulfur is very much high. Option number C, presence of carbon is very much high. Option number D, presence of nitrogen is very much high. So think about it, rethink about it, think twice, thrice, 10 times, but answer with a peaceful mind. Okay, you will get the answer, because till now we have done, so there is answer behind that. So the answer will be the option number A is the correct answer. Okay friends, so for this you have to read the chapter number 2 of the Shankar IAS, then only you can easily answer this, or else it will be very hectic to you to attempt these questions. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, right? So tomorrow we are going to discuss the chapter number 3 of Shankar IAS. Okay, of Shankar IAS, chapter number 3. So be prepared for chapter number 3, and as usual we will discuss some sort of questions, okay, which are most important from UPSC prelims perspective. So don't miss tomorrow's lecture as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do subscribe for Acquire IAS. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.